In my personal perspective last week, I took aim at a political action committee on Miami Beach called Relentless for Progress. It's headed by Miami Beach Commissioner Jonah Wolfson, who appears to be using some high-handed, high-pressure tactics to raise money that will be used to elect a slate of 3 commission candidates, all of whom support Mayor Philip Levine. And Mayor Levine joins us this morning to, as Paul Harvey used to say, the other side of the story. So where do you think I was off base?
Well, Michael, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity, because you know how much I respect you. I always say you're the Walter Cronkite of South Florida.
Oh, my goodness, that's kind.
But he's older, you're younger. So, but Michael, you know, when I ran for mayor of Miami Beach 2.5 years ago, I encountered a city that was a convention center that was off track, a police department that was unfortunately out of control, streets that were flooding. We had no idea what we were going to do. And I decided to run because I wanted to represent our people. And what I did is I actually self-financed my campaign.
Right.
I raised money, but under $100.
Yeah. But you also knocked on, I say admiringly, Philip, you knocked on hundreds of doors. It wasn't, you just didn't buy the office. No. But here's my question. You ran to bring integrity, root out corruption, and here you are involved in this political action committee, which, among other things, seems to violate the very ordinances of the city of Miami Beach, which says a city vendor or real estate developer may not directly or indirectly, in fact, we can put the ordinance up. Well, here is the ad that is being paid for by the PAC. But anyway, the ordinance says city vendors and real estate developers and associates may not be solicited for campaign contributions for commission or mayoral candidates. But that, it appears that's
Michael,
exactly what's happening.
Let me answer your question, because I think the information that you stated is not correct. Our city attorney, who's been with the city for over 20 years, and the previous city attorney, has said not only is it appropriate for political action committees to raise money, but it's also 100% legal. That particular law was not intended to, in any way, react to PACs. And as you know, the county has, Mayor Jimenez has a PAC, the city of Miami, all the county commissioners.
Everybody's got PACs, so there's no question about that. But I think
it's important to say that, you know, when I ran for mayor, I put my money where my mouth is. I'm running for re-election. I'm going to be filing at the end of the month, opening a campaign account, and I'm putting my own money in again. And of course, you know, Michael, I don't take a salary. I don't take any expenses whatsoever. I'm doing this because I want to get Miami Beach and maintain it. But let me answer your question about the PAC. Commissioner Wolfson decided to open this PAC because a very dear friend of mine by the name of Ricky Arriola is running for commissioner, and he's a pillar of our society. He was being attacked by these shady groups that were trying to, you have no idea who the donors are, and Commissioner Wolfson said he won't stand for it, and he decided to raise money to help to make sure that we maintain the progress.
Mr. Mayor, that's all well within the bounds of traditional politics, particularly on Miami Beach. Here is part of the brochure that Commissioner Wolfson sent out asking neighbors, here's why I'm raising the money, and it says, quote, over the next few months, I will look closely at who is running to serve our community on the city commission. I will fight to get the right people and the money from the PAC, and it's $1 million.
Well, let me ask
in the last report. But, Mr. Mayor, again, soliciting money, whether your city attorney thinks it's legal or not, it strikes me as unethical.
Well, I think
to go to your city vendors who have contracts or want city contracts and say to them, do you want to make a donation? How can they say
Michael,
no?
I think if you look at the PAC that Commissioner Wolfson formed, you're going to find out that 80% of these are just residents of Miami Beach that are very successful, that want to give back because they like the direction of our city. But I think there's a bigger issue here. I think it's a county issue, it's a state issue, it's a federal issue. Remember, Michael, I self-finance my campaign, so it doesn't affect me whatsoever. But I think what I would say is, why would they focus on one particular PAC that's been so successful because our city's been successful? Why wouldn't the ethics board look at all the PACs? Look at Mayor Jimenez's PAC. Look at the PACs of the Raquel Regalado. And I want to show this because I think that we know what's going on in our community right now is PACs. I mean, Senator Rubio has received $3 million from Larry Ellison. He received $5 million from Norman Brayman. This is prevalent through our entire country.
And Jeb Bush got $3 million from Mike Hernandez. So, yeah, no, this is politics as usual, and maybe the Ethics Commission or the legislature or other governmental entities should look at the PACs. Well, maybe they look ought to look at the Citizens United decision if you want to go
I agree with you 100%.
even further.
If you would like to move forward on it, I'm right next to you.
Okay, well,
I'm going to call you Pac-Man.
Mr. Mayor, let me ask you, did you get on the phone with Commissioner Wolfson in the last few months and take part in these conversations to these businesses on the beach,
Michael,
and say, please make a contribution?
Michael, I absolutely made calls and asked them to contribute to this. Matter of fact, I did more than make calls. I actually wrote a check myself to Relentless for Progress, because I think that we need to maintain the direction the city is going in, get things done. And I think it's important that we all do that.
Yeah.
But once again, why are we focused? You know what some people are saying, Michael, and I don't believe it. Some people are saying they're taking aim at this PAC because they're scared that maybe I'm going to run countywide. Or maybe I'm going to run statewide in the future.
Well, I
hope that's not the case. But
I think that you may have higher political ambitions, and more power to you if you choose to run for the county or the state senate, or if Hillary Clinton is elected president, you're very close to her and Bill Clinton. Maybe you will become the ambassador to, represent the United States abroad. But again, that's all kind of far afield. My question this morning, Philip Levine, is very simple. Is it kosher for the Political Action Committee, Relentless for Progress, to be going to city vendors and developers and businesses, and here's a list of who they are? We all know who they are because this has been reported. Is this right? Is
Michael,
this appropriate?
right now, this is the world we live in. It's appropriate, it's legal. If we want to change the laws, I would be the first to do it. I think we should. Because remember something, Michael, I self-finance my campaign. I don't need the money. And I think, but we should do it. So I count on the county. I say they should change these laws. Let me tell you the two things we've done in Miami Beach already. Number one, unlike the county, the state website, which shows who's contributed to every PAC, is now on our local website. It's very important. So now our residents can see. And we're now pushing for legislation in September. I've told the city attorney during the last meeting, let's make sure that every elected official in Miami Beach, if you're raising money for a PAC, you need to register, just like they do in Tallahassee.
Well, good.
And we call upon the county to do the same thing with that mayor and with those county commissioners, who, by the way, as you know, Michael, they all have PACs and they all raise money from the same vendors and suppliers. So what's good for the goose should be good for the gander.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And just I want to make sure on the record that I have no question, no qualms about running a slate of candidates. That's a time-honored tradition everywhere in this country. So that's not the question. The question is, these candidates are the three candidates who support you are going to get money from this Political Action Committee, from city vendors and developers. And I just have to ask you again, Phil,
So,
is this right? Is this legit?
Michael, can I disagree with you? Number one, they're not receiving money from me.
Heart's
Commissioner Wolfson, that's his PAC. I have endorsed no candidates for commission at this point, and I'm not sure who I'm going to endorse. But I think what you need to do is, remember, you know what kind of season this is right now? This is political. This is election season.
It is.
We have two commissioners who are termed out. One of them wants her husband to become a commissioner.
Dee Dee
He's
White-Thorne.
received no support from the community. He's received no support from the commissioners, do not want him up there. So we have a disgruntled commissioner. We have another commissioner who wanted to be a police officer, who failed an ethics test.
Ed Tobin.
And that's another commissioner who's very disgruntled. So, we have a couple of months to go. We have an election in November. I went through this 2 years ago. I never forget, they called me anti-Hispanic. They told me I was Raul and Fidel Castro's business partner. But the message of politics today is people want real people that lay it on the line, the same way I answer your questions.
All right. Well, I'm so glad you came in this morning. And just not to put too fine a point on it, but what you were saying is what Commissioner Wolfson and Relentless for Progress is doing is on the up and up, and you're fine with it.
100%, but I think that we should call on the county to change the laws so that everyone's on the same playing field. Because remember, you don't want to single out one PAC. That starts to stink, Michael. It starts to stink.
All right, let's have the Ethics Commission look at all PACs. As far as I'm concerned, that's all right with me.
Me too.
All right, Philip Levine, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.